A blessed day to all, and I'm back. Ma'am Maria Bernadette Esbiazon is here again for another General Chemistry 1 class, still for week 2. Today, you will learn how to write names of ionic compounds. At the end of the learning episode, you are expected to 1. Name ionic compounds given their formulas and vice versa, and 2. Classify ionic compounds according to type based from their names and chemical formulas. Ready? Let's proceed to our pretest. 1. What is the correct name for the ionic compound CaF2? A, B, C, or D? Go! 2. Which of the following is a binary ionic compound? A, B, C, or D? Go! 3. Which is a ternary ionic compound? A, B, C, or D? Go! 4. All binary ionic compounds names end in blank. A, B, C, or D? Go! And 5. Which is the correct name of the polyatomic ion ClO4 negative? A, B, C, or D? Go! And here are the answers. What's your score? Don't be sad if you were not able to answer some of the questions correctly, because you will be learning about this today. But before we go to our lesson, try to answer first our short recap. In our last lesson, you learned the ways of representing ionic compounds. Can you still recall some of the concepts related to this? 1. A blank provides the element symbols and their numerical subscripts. 2. When an element that readily loses electrons, a metal, reacts with an element that readily gains electrons, a non-metal, a transfer of electrons usually occurs, producing ions and the so-called blank. 3. Blank tend to lose electrons while blank tend to gain electrons. 4. The correct ion pairs for the binary ionic compound Ca3P2 are blank and blank. And 5. The correct chemical formula of the compound that will be formed by the ions Mg2 plus and SO4 2 negative is blank. And these are the answers. It's nice to know that you still remember our lesson on writing chemical and structural formulas of ionic compounds. Are you ready for our third lesson for this week? Let's begin. Do you know the names of these scientists who brought pride to our country? They are Dr. Josette Billo, Dr. Ricardo M. Lantican, and Dr. Lourdes J. Cruz. The Florian Main Belt asteroid 13241, or the minor planet Billo, discovered by Linear at Lincoln Labs ETS in 1998, was named in honor of Dr. Billo, after she received the International Excellence in Teaching Award during the Intel International Science and Engineering Fair in 2002. While Dr. Ricardo M. Lantican is an internationally recognized pioneer in plant breeding and received the title of National Scientist in 2005 for developing over 20 enhanced mung bean, soybean, and peanut varieties. And Dr. Lourdes J. Cruz is lauded for her research on Conus geographus, a marine snail found in the Philippines. Their research paved the way toward finding practical uses for conotoxins, leading to breakthroughs in neuroscience and medicine. In 2006, she officially joined the roster of the Philippines National Scientists. Why do we need to know a person's name? Because it is the sweetest and most important sound in any language, and a name represents identity. You learned in the previous lesson that a chemical formula identifies a specific ionic compound because it reveals the composition of the compound, right? Similarly, the name of a compound distinguishes the compound from all other compounds. In the early days of chemistry, there were no rules for naming compounds. Often, compounds received the names of people or places. Some of the original names are still used today. They are called trivial or common names because they tell little or nothing about the chemistry of the compounds. For example, potassium nitrate KNO3 is commonly known as saltpeter. The Greek word for rock is petra, and saltpeter is a salt found crusted on rocks. The chemical name of a compound of ammonium and chloride ions is ammonium chloride NH4Cl. Long before NH4Cl received this name, however, people commonly refer to it as sal ammoniac. They mined this ionic compound near the ancient Egyptian temple of Ammon in Libya. The name sal ammoniac literally means salt of Ammon. Early chemists routinely gave trivial names to substances before understanding their chemical structure and behavior. This situation changed during the mid to late 1800s. By this time, chemistry was firmly established as a science. Chemists of